Hello, everybody. This is Kaylin M. Lawrence, and I'm here with Africa International House. And we're going to give you guys a really good show today. We have a really awesome guest with us. But first, we want to share with you a few words about our mission. The mission of Africa International House is to serve as a center that exposes and educates all people to the individual works and collective contributions of African cultures. Our mission is addressed through our flagship program, the African Festival of Arts, and through other activities that promote African-based culture. Africa International House is an umbrella for linkages and exchanges of people from Africa and the African diaspora. You can find more information about that at the link that's at the bottom of this slide, which is aihusa.org/about. And there it is right there. And here we just want to show you guys the flyer for the African Festival of the Arts Chicago Gala. Tickets are on sale now. You can check that out at the website. All right. Now here we have our guest. You can go ahead and introduce yourself for us.
All right. Well, I'm Chi O of Culture Rich.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Culture Rich is and what your purpose is on today's show?
Sure. Culture Rich is a not-for-profit organization that is pretty much, our vision is to celebrate Africa. So it's all about creating platforms that exposes the beauty of Africa through Experience It Yourself events. We have three facets that make up Culture Rich, which is the African experience, which are your authentic Experience It Yourself events and programs. We have our Club Ambition initiative, which is programming geared at creating entrepreneurial and training and leadership for the indigenous of Africa, as well as hashtag Beauty is Me.
Wow, that is amazing. I know that I looked at your website and I was able to see the hashtag Beauty is Me, which we will get a little bit more into in a second.
Okay.
But I want you to go ahead and tell us what your organization is doing with Africa International House. Like, how are you guys affiliated? What did you come on the show to bring to us and our audience?
Well, I think we share some of the same, we have the same mission.
Yes.
In terms of creating that platform. And so we know that the African Fest is coming up. We also have the Club Ambition Initiative, which we're going to be doing. We have an event coming up on the 26th of August where we're having people come out so that we can show them what Africa has to offer in terms of the future innovators and entrepreneurs. And just want people to get to know a little bit more about what we do and how to support the next.
Wow, that's really good. I know that you guys are very passionate about spreading awareness for different types of African culture, because as I was looking through your website, I saw that you mentioned that the media tends to have like a little bit of a negative spin on African culture and Black culture, and you guys are working to combat that.
Absolutely.
It's really good. So what are some things that you would say that you're here to address that need to be refocused in terms of how the media presents them, such as Beauty is Me?
Okay. Well, like you said, when you tend to think of Africa, or what the media tends to portray are negative images, right? They tend to associate Africa with disease, it being dilapidated, or us being in despair where we need foreign aid. And the whole purpose of Culture Rich, it was born out of frustration.
Yes.
In that, no, we want you to understand that this continent, not country, because a lot of people have that misconception and think that Africa is a country and not a continent. Want you to understand that it's a burgeoning continent. We are diverse in culture. We're rich in culture. And that was the whole premise of Culture Rich. Wanted you to go and see it for yourself. See that it's not about disease. We are full of life. We are full of prospect. We are full of energy. We are colorful, a diverse group or groups of people. And so want to change the narrative. So hence the different programs that we have implemented so that people can come and experience it themselves. Let them create their own impression versus allowing the media to do so for them.
I think that is really good. I actually didn't even read that far into the purpose and the goals when I was looking at the website. Like at first I thought it was maybe just like a reference tool for people to look at, like maybe just like a publication. Right. But I see that it's far beyond that. You guys have interactive things and programs that you guys work with. So how does that correlate with the topics that I saw on your website that you talked about, Beauty is Me, colorism, and things such as that? What do you guys do with that?
So #BeautyIsMe is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's about resetting beauty standards, right? Society has this set notion as to what beauty is or what it should look like. And for me, the definition of beauty or beautiful is every time you look at someone or something, you find something new to appreciate. So with #BeautyIsMe, it's a means to address the bleaching epidemic that is happening. It's prevalent in Africa, but it's all around the world. But naturally, being an indigene of Africa, Nigeria to be exact, I wanted to address. I want people to understand that what makes the world go round, what makes it worth living is the diversity that is us, right?
Yes.
And for us to set our own standards. I'm beautiful, you're beautiful, and that should be enough, period. And so I wanted to create a platform, or a campaign rather, where we celebrate just that.
Yes.
Right. So that's pretty much #BeautyIsMe.
And how does that work with people who might be more on the more negative end of the colorism spectrum? Because I was just having this discussion with somebody about how, generally speaking, especially in America, that the more fair-skinned women tend to be deemed more beautiful than the browner skinned or darker skinned women. Do you guys do anything to kind of integrate the two or speak to both parties, or how do you guys do that?
So right now, with our platforms, more so we have Bridging the Gap events, right?
Yes.
Where we're now talking about the things that are similarities.
Yes.
And rather than focusing on our differences, whether it's women, whether it's men, the shades of melanin, the origins, our culture, why we need to be appreciative of who we are. And so the events that we have, like we just did a Bridging the Gap series where we did a head wrap situation, right? Because at one point in history, that was meant to demean. And we took that back. And it originates from the continent. Because I like to call, Black Americans, I call them American Africans, right?
Yes.
Because you are. Period.
Yes,
so you're American Africans. And so understanding that the heritage and the history behind that. Colorism, that's a huge monster. It's a huge battle.
It is.
But I just want to go back to us appreciating ourselves. Having gone to school in Nigeria, because I know when growing up, I had the issue of wanting to be light skinned, long hair, green eyes, right? Because that was the pretty girl in school. That's where all the boys flocked. Was a light skinned, long hair, green eyes. And I used to think my face was a mask, and then if you unveiled this mask, it'd be light skinned, long hair at least. But having gone home or going back to Nigeria, got to see the different shades and imagine someone of darker pigmentation being the center of attention.
Yes.
She was the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen. Bright white teeth, super dark skin, and I want to go back to those days where it's not more so who's lighter, who's darker, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the different attributes that make us unique.
I think that is so good to hear someone say that, because honestly, I'm a huge stickler for fighting colorism. I think the first step is acknowledging that it exists. I hate when people, especially minorities, especially Black minorities, deny that it exists. I have people close to me who deny that colorism exists, and I feel like you can't fix the issue without acknowledging that it's prevalent, because I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. Okay. And was probably about 65-35 between black and Hispanic being the majority. And I would always wonder why amongst the black, amongst the black boys, why they would favor the lighter skinned, black girls. But when it came to the Hispanic boys, they would favor the darker skinned black girls. So it was very interesting. And that always set something in my mind, like, why is it that another race can appreciate, the melanin in my skin, me being brown skin and not light bright, like so-and-so or so-and-so, but my own people don't. So I think that we definitely need the hashtag beauty is me. That's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other campaigns that you have going?
So right now, we're doing the Club Ambition Initiative, which is entrepreneurship and leadership training geared at creating a culture of retention and maintenance, especially with me being a Nigerian. That's not a culture that we possess. We're more so, if it's broken, we'll just go buy another one. Or we don't have the foresight to plan and maintain. So, or we think that imports are better versus what we produce. So wanted to, again, switch the narrative on that front in terms of, hey, we come from a place where everything that man needs is here. We produce great industry leaders across the continent. You think of the resources that are available, whether it's gold, silver, diamonds, technology, even the materials that you find in your phone come from the continent. So want to switch back in that dependence from outsiders and, hey, let's look at the skill sets that are present here. I can speak on Nigeria in that it's almost 200 million people who make up that country. Your greatest asset a company can ever have are their people. So want the people to understand that the power is in them and wanting to tap into that by providing the means for them to say, hey, I'm good enough. Let me try. Granted, the resources are not always available, which is where Culture Rich comes in. With our Club Ambition Initiative, we want to provide that support. We're going to provide you with the tools and resources that you need so that those who don't have the rich uncle or rich father can tap in and get the support they need to bring fresh ideas, be innovators in their fields.
That's awesome. I think that it's just amazing to see different organizations such as your own working to really upbuild entrepreneurs of color and keep it in the family, so to speak, because I feel like there's nothing wrong with supporting businesses outside of your own ethnic group, but I think it's always best to support your own ethnic group if possible. So, definitely having more black or of African descent entrepreneurs who are in different fields, like you said, innovators across all industries would be so beneficial to the community and to the economy as a whole.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I have a couple of photos that I took from your website. I just want you to go ahead and talk on them.
Okay.
Let me pull them up for you. Here's the first one. Can you tell us, where's this from? What were you doing?
That was a fantastic event. The Girls Like Me project, where the conversation is centering around girls of color, black girls of color, pretty much stepping outside of their box, getting into technology and traveling. So got to speak on that panel from a perspective of fashion. So in that picture, I wouldn't consider myself a fashion guru, but I enjoy our Ankara print, which is what I'm wearing right there, which is what I have on now. And that's my ode to people back home, to let them know the material, our fashion, our colors are appreciated here. So got to work with a bunch of great women. They're going to kill me. But those are some powerful women in that picture. Pioneers, trailblazers in that picture you see there, that are working here and back on the continent, Kenya, Nigeria, and here in Chicago, doing great things, being women of power. So Got to sit on that panel. It was a great event. Got to meet some great girls.
Wow, that's awesome. It looks like you guys were having a good old time.
We actually did.
I see all the smiles. Now, what is this?
This is one of my favorite events to do. We have, under the African Experience, we have what is called the African Kitchen Series, which we're going to start back up next month, where it's a dine and discuss, where people have an opportunity to learn a little bit about the culture. So what it is we go to Chicagoland restaurants, where people have an opportunity to learn about the dish. In this particular instance, it was the Jollof Rice series. And I don't know if you're familiar, but there is a jollof rice war, per se.
Really?
Yeah, like who makes the best jollof rice. So you have, pretty much the argument is between Nigeria and Ghana. But Senegal kicks in. And funny enough, with the war being between Nigeria and Ghana, the irony is Senegal, when you look at the history, are the originators of jollof rice. Yes, and there's a whole jollof kingdom. And we didn't get to know this until we started doing the jollof rice series, which is awesome. And that's exactly what I want. I want it to be a learning experience where we get to learn, we get to cook, and we get to eat. And most things are done in the kitchen, right?
Yes.
That's where stories are passed down, our history is passed down. That's where it's an opportunity for us to bond and come together. So with the African Kitchen series, we go to different restaurants, Senegalese, Ethiopian, Nigerian, Ghanaian, what's represented in the city. And hopefully we get to expand because you have smaller communities here. And we pick a dish and we learn about the history and origin of that dish. We learn how to make that dish. And of course we feast. And then we'll talk about whatever current events. Oh, yes. That was a great event. Whatever current events are happening that pertain to the continent. So it's always a great turnout, get to meet great people, and as you can see, it's a diverse event. So come one, come all.
Wow. Quick question. What is jollof rice? Is that special type of rice?
That's a good question. Like, I don't know if I've ever been able to explain. So pretty much it is rice cooked in a tomato-based stew sauce, depending on who you ask, that simmers over time, and it's enriched with all these flavors. And no shade to anybody, but I think Nigerian jollof rice is the best rice there is. Okay? No, that's not true. Okay, let me take it back. Still not going to say Ghana ever. Senegalese jollof rice is, we had what they call, their version of jollof rice is called Chebujin. And we had an opportunity to go to Yassa's, and it was some of the best rice I've ever. As a Nigerian, I can humbly say that they might give us a little run for their money.
Wow.
Cameroon, Liberia, nobody ever mentions their jollof rice. It's either Nigerian, Ghana, or Senegal.
I'm gonna have to try that.
You
one
absolutely
day.
have to.
Yes. Now, what is this image?
So this, I'm really proud of this. So I talk about experience it yourself events.
Yes.
So the goal is to celebrate Africa. In order for people to see it for themselves or experience it for themselves, they need to come home. So I do group travel. This was a trip to Badagry, Nigeria, where the slave trade. It was part of the slave trade. So we are at Badagry, learning about the history, how slaves were brought in, how we were sold for items as simple as umbrellas, minuscule things. But yeah, like, just thinking about it. But you get an opportunity to experience what our ancestors went through before coming here. We have, because this is popular in Ghana as well, the point of no return, where we actually do the walk. And you have to put yourself in the mindset of our ancestors in terms of how resilient they had to be, because not everyone made it. And to go through being housed in spaces that could be your pantry, 30 people in one room, and then having to walk barefoot in chains. You're chained by hand, you're chained by foot, sometimes by mouth. So it's a humbling experience. It's a thought-provoking experience. And, at first I was a little leery about putting this part on the trip because, because the whole point is to make it positive, but it's important that we know our origins so that we know where we come from. So we do a trip. Hopefully it will be at least twice a year where we'll be going to different countries on the continent so people can experience it themselves and get their own impressions, and hopefully they'll tell a friend who will tell a friend who will tell a friend, and it becomes a thing where going home becomes the norm.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm so glad that you were able to share with us about, Culture Rich and like the things that you all do. Now, my final question to you would be, what do you have upcoming that we should know about, and what are your, final thoughts, closing ideas?
Okay, so we have our Club Ambition Initiative coming up August 26th. It's going to take place at the Shapiro Ballroom, asking everybody to come out in their 90s gear. And this is an opportunity. We chose 90s because that's an era where I grew up, and that was the time frame where we were had less inhibitions, right? The sky was the limit. We could accomplish anything, and it's an ode to our future entrepreneurs. And so we want to get together so we can work together as to how we can create more resources for people back home. So if you're not busy, join us on the 26th of August.
I would love to attend. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really enjoyed you.
Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate the platform.
No problem. We look forward to hearing more about the Culture Rich and the things that you guys are going to continue to help progress in society, in the Black community, in the African community. Just so much that you guys are doing and achieving. That's so good.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close out with some final words for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. The African Festival of Arts Gala is coming up August 18th at DuSable Museum of African American History with a performance from Regina Belle. Tickets are on sale and can be purchased at aihusa.org/gala. The 28th African Festival of Arts on Labor Day is also coming. WizKid, Taylor Bennett, and Heatwave will join Wyclef Jean for 2017's African Festival of the Arts this Labor Day. Tickets now available for the dates September 1st through the 4th will be the celebration of African arts and culture, and you can purchase tickets for that at aihusa.org/AFA-tickets. And those are just some of the flyers for the performers that will be present. As we mentioned, Wyclef Jean, Taylor Bennett, and WizKid. Hope we see you all there. You guys have a great night, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.